SINOMACH HI International Equipment Co., Ltd. GYS10J Road Roller User Manual. Dear customers, thank you for purchasing the GYS10J Road Roller from SINOMACH Heavy Industry. To help you get the most out of your product, this manual provides a detailed overview of the important precautions and maintenance guidelines for the proper use of the GYS10J Road Roller. We believe that SINOMACH products will deliver an excellent working experience and contribute to greater success and profitability for your operations. This video includes following 6 chapters. Chapter 1 Machine Structure. Chapter 2 Safety Instruction. Chapter 3 Operational Instruction. Chapter 4 Maintenance Instruction. Chapter 1 Machine Structure. Nameplate. Machine serial number. Front frame. Scraper. Drum. Shock absorber. Vibration motor. Steering cylinder. Frame hinge. Articulation lock rod. Rear frame. Engine hood. Air pre-filter. Exhaust pipe. Steering oil pump. Engine. Clutch assembly. Main gearbox. Auxiliary gearbox. Neutral switch. Reverse switch. Drive shaft. Rear axle. Air compressor. Oil-water separator. Air reservoir. Foot brake valve. Brake booster. Brake. Vibration pump. Vibration control valve. Steering unit. Cab. Seat. Brake pedal. Accelerator control handle. Parking brake. Transmission gear selector lever. Ignition switch. Instrument panel. Diesel tank. Hydraulic oil tank. Water radiator. Main power switch. Battery box. Chapter 2 Safety Instruction. Unlicensed personnel are not permitted to operate the vibratory roller. Before using the vibratory roller, operators must be familiar with the machine's main performance features, structural characteristics, operating methods, maintenance procedures, and road traffic regulations. Before starting the machine, perform all required vehicle inspections and preparations. If any issues are found, they must be resolved before starting the engine. Before moving, check for pedestrians or obstacles around the vehicle, and sound the horn before starting. Avoid performing maintenance or repair work while the engine is running. If necessary, secure the tires with wooden blocks or lift the rear wheels with a jack. Only trained operators may perform these actions. Do not allow people to get on or off the roller while it is in motion. Only one person, the driver, is allowed in the cab. No one should ride outside the cab at any time. Avoid excessive speeds and sharp turns during travel. Do not coast downhill in neutral gear, and prevent the engine from stalling. Maintain engine speed above idle. On steep and curved mountain roads, use a low gear and keep the engine at approximately 1000 RPM. When crossing bridges, check the load capacity sign to ensure the roller is permitted to cross. To change between forward and reverse, first shift the control lever to neutral and come to a complete stop before selecting the desired gear. If the air pressure shown on the gauge is below 0.45 MPa, do not operate or move the roller. During operation, it needs to be stopped for 15 minutes every hour or so before resuming the vibration operation. This prevents overheating of the hydraulic oil, frequency drops, and potential component damage. When servicing the engine or electrical system, the negative terminal of the battery must be disconnected to cut off power. After completing work and before leaving the cab, shut off the engine. Disconnect the power supply, return all control levers to neutral, and engage the handbrake. When opening a hot radiator or hydraulic oil tank, wear gloves and loosen the cap slowly to prevent injury from pressurized hot fluids. Take fire safety precautions. Smoking is prohibited during refueling and maintenance. Only use clean fuel and lubricants that meet the specified grades and quality standards. In winter, drain coolant from the diesel engine to prevent freezing damage, unless antifreeze is used. If antifreeze is present, determine whether to drain it based on its temperature resistance rating. Chapter 3 Operational Instruction. Pre-start inspection. Before operation, you must read user manual and the diesel engine manual, and perform the following checks as required. Check the engine oil level, it should be within the range marked on the dipstick. Check the coolant level in the radiator, refill if necessary. Check the fuel tank level, use a filter screen when refueling. Check the hydraulic oil level in the tank, ensure it is within the marked range. Check all connection components for looseness. Check whether the tire pressure is normal. Turn on the power switch. Check that the vibration control switch is in the neutral position. Check that the gear shift lever is in neutral. Pull up the parking brake lever to engage the brake and prevent accidental rolling of the roller. Starting the engine. Insert the ignition key into the switch and turn it to the on position to power the electrical system. Check the fuel gauge, voltmeter, turn signal indicators, brake lights, horn, and other electrical devices for proper function. Pull the throttle handle to approximately 1/4 of full throttle and start the engine. Release the ignition key immediately after the engine starts to avoid damaging the starter gear or burning out the starter motor. Do not engage the starter for more than 15 seconds at a time. If the engine does not start, wait at least 1 minute before trying again. If the engine fails to start after 3 to 4 attempts, identify and eliminate the cause of the failure before attempting to start again. After starting, gradually increase the throttle and let the engine warm up at 1000 RPM for 3 to 5 minutes with no load. Check all oil and water pipes for any signs of leakage. Operating the road roller. After the engine has warmed up, and when the engine coolant temperature reaches above 45 degrees Celsius and engine oil pressure reaches 0.6 MPa with all other gauges reading normally, the roller is ready to begin operation. To ensure the steering system functions properly, gently turn the steering wheel left and right and observe the steering response. Do not allow anyone to stand in front of or behind the roller when starting. Remove any obstacles on the road before proceeding. Release the parking brake lever, step on the clutch pedal, shift the gear lever into the desired gear. And then gradually release the clutch pedal to begin driving. Move the throttle handle, increasing the engine speed will increase the travel speed, while decreasing the engine speed will reduce the travel speed. When shifting from a low gear to a high gear, moderately increase the throttle to raise the engine speed. While releasing the throttle, press the clutch pedal, shift the gear lever to a higher gear. Then gradually release the clutch pedal while increasing the throttle again. When shifting from a high gear to a low gear, reduce the vehicle speed first, then shift to the lower gear. Vibratory operation steps for steel drum. Note, do not activate vibration when the roller is stationary, as it may damage the machine. Before performing vibratory compaction, run the roller for approximately 5 minutes. During operation, first keep the engine throttle to medium speed position. Shift into the working gear and start driving forward, then turn on the vibration switch. After that, pull the engine throttle control handle to the working position. If the roller needs to change its travel direction during operation, should stop the vibration first, then repeat the above vibration activation steps. During operation, by changing the rotation direction of the vibration switch and the engine speed, the amplitude, frequency, and excitation force can be adjusted to achieve the best compaction effect. Roller braking system. The GYS10J road roller features two types of braking systems, with their operation and usage described below. Foot brake. The foot brake is a pneumatically assisted hydraulic caliper disc brake. When the brake pedal is pressed, compressed air passes through the brake valve into the air booster, which generates high-pressure oil. The pressure oil then enters the caliper disc brake system to create braking force. Since this braking method uses pneumatic assistance, it is crucial to ensure that the compressed air in the air reservoir is maintained between 0.6 to 0.85 MPa during driving. The foot brake is used for driving, service, braking. Hand brake. The hand brake is a drum brake, mounted on the output shaft of the transmission. When the hand brake lever is pulled, the internal expanding drum brake is engaged to provide braking force. The hand brake is primarily used for parking. Warning note: in emergency situations, both the foot brake and hand brake should be used simultaneously to ensure driving safety. Roller parking procedure. Do not leave the roller while the engine is running. The roller should be parked at the roadside, and the hand brake must be engaged when stopping. If the roller is parked on a slope, wheel chocks should be used to block the rollers. If the machine will be out of service for an extended period, please turn off the battery negative switch. Roller tire inflation. The roller tires can be filled in two ways. One uses compressed air only. The other uses a mix of compressed air and a 25.7% calcium chloride solution. The GYS10J roller uses air-filled tires. Since high-pressure air can cause explosions and serious injury or death, observe the following safety precautions during inflation. Always stand to the side of the tire, not in front of it, and use an automatic locking air chuck. Use a pressure gauge to monitor inflation and ensure pressure stays within the specified range. Tire size, May 17, 25. Inflation pressure, 300 to 450 kilopascals. Chapter 4 Maintenance Instruction. Proper lubrication can significantly reduce wear on various machine components, ensure optimal performance, and extend the machine's service life. Therefore, regular maintenance is of great significance for the normal use of the roller. Regular maintenance of the engine intake system. Always perform air filter maintenance after the engine has been shut off. Check the engine air intake system and ensure the air filter and connection hoses are not loose. Release the retaining clamps, remove the dust tray, and clean out the accumulated dust. Remove the primary filter element, and use compressed air to blow it from the inside out, following the length of the pleats. Air pressure must not exceed 0.2 MPa. Do not wash the filter with oil or water. After cleaning the primary filter, inspect it carefully. If the filter paper is torn, or the rubber seal on the end cap is detached, replace it with a new one. The inner filter is a safety element, which does not require maintenance. However, if the primary filter is damaged or heavily dust-covered, both elements must be replaced together. When reinstalling, ensure the filter element seats properly and is fully sealed with no air leakage. The air filter housing must be undamaged, and the dust tray clamps must be tightened to ensure sealing. The rubber dust discharge valve should point straight down. Never operate the machine without the dust discharge valve installed. Every 50 hours, check and maintain the primary filter, and inspect the safety filter. After 5 cleanings, replace the air filter with a new one. If the operating environment is particularly harsh, shorten the maintenance interval accordingly. Regular maintenance of the engine fuel system. The first service for the new engine is at 50 hours, which requires replacing the diesel fuel filter and fuel water separator. Subsequently, every 500 hours, replace both the fuel filter and fuel water separator. Wipe away any dirt on the fuel filter seat and housing. Use a specialized tool to remove the old filter, and clean the filter base to ensure the sealing surface is clear. Otherwise, poor sealing may result. Apply clean lubricating oil to the O-ring of the new filter, and fill the filter with diesel fuel. Install the new fuel filter onto the base and hand tighten. Then use the tool to tighten an additional 1/2 to 3/4 turn. Start the engine and check the filter seal for leaks. Drain the water from the bottom of the fuel water separator daily before operation. Always select the appropriate diesel grade based on the local climate temperature. Regular maintenance of the engine lubrication system. The first maintenance for the new machine is at 50 hours, which includes changing the engine oil and oil filter. After that, change both every 250 hours. When the engine is still warm, remove the crankcase drain plug to drain the oil. Wipe the filter seat and housing clean. Remove the old oil filter by using a specialized tool, and clean the sealing area of the filter base. Apply clean lubricating oil to the new filter's O-ring and fill it with new engine oil. Install the new filter and hand tighten, then use the tool to tighten it 1/2 to 3/4 turn. Clean the sealing surface and reinstall the oil drain plug. Open the oil filler cap and add diesel engine oil according to the specified grade and viscosity. Start the engine and let it idle for 3 minutes, then shut it off. Check the filter seal. Wait for 5 minutes to allow the oil to return to the sump, then use the dipstick to check the oil level. It should be between the upper and lower marks. The engine oil capacity is 8 liters. If the ambient temperature ranges from -10 degrees Celsius to 40 degrees Celsius, it is recommended to use CH grade diesel engine oil with a viscosity grade of 15W40. If the ambient temperature is below -10 degrees Celsius, it is recommended to use CH grade diesel engine oil with a viscosity grade of 5W30. Regular maintenance of the transmission system. The first maintenance for a new machine is at 100 operating hours, during which the transmission oil must be replaced. Thereafter, the transmission oil should be replaced every 1000 operating hours. The transmission oil capacity of main gearbox is around 7 liters and the auxiliary gearbox is around 6 liters. If the ambient temperature is between -10 degrees Celsius and 40 degrees Celsius, use 85W90GL4 heavy-duty vehicle gear oil. If the ambient temperature is below -10 degrees Celsius, use 75W90GL4 heavy-duty vehicle gear oil. Unscrew the drain plug at the bottom of the transmission to drain the gear oil, then tighten the plug. Unscrew the filler plug on the main transmission, which also serves as the oil level plug. Add gear oil until it overflows from the oil level opening, then tighten the plug. Unscrew the filler and dipstick plugs on the auxiliary transmission, add oil through the filler port, and check the oil level using the dipstick. Add oil until the level reaches between the 2 marks on the dipstick, then tighten both the filler and dipstick plugs. Regular maintenance of the hydraulic system. The first maintenance for a new machine is at 100 operating hours, during which the hydraulic tank return oil filter element must be replaced. Thereafter, every 1000 operating hours, the hydraulic oil and oil return filter elements must be replaced. The hydraulic oil capacity is 190 liters. For ambient temperatures between -10 degrees Celsius and 40 degrees Celsius, it is recommended to use hydraulic oil with a viscosity grade of ISO VG46. For ambient temperatures below -10 degrees Celsius, it is recommended to use hydraulic oil with a viscosity grade of ISO VG32. Regular maintenance of the drive axle. For a new machine, the initial maintenance requires changing the gear oil after 100 hours of operation. Thereafter, the gear oil should be replaced every 1,000 hours of operation. Oil capacity is 17 liters. Oil change for the final drive compartment. Unscrew the filler plug, also the oil level plug, add oil until it overflows from the filler hole, then tighten the filler plug. Oil change for the wheel hub reduction gear. Move the drain port of the wheel side reducer to the lowest position. Unscrew the plug to drain the gear oil. Then move the drain port to the highest position, it now serves as the filling port. Unscrew the oil level plug and fill with gear oil until it overflows from the oil level port. Tighten the plugs of both the filling port and the oil level port. For ambient temperatures -10 degrees Celsius to 40 degrees Celsius, use 85W90GL5 heavy-duty gear oil. For ambient temperatures below -10 degrees Celsius, use 75W90GL5 heavy-duty gear oil. Regular maintenance of vibration bearings. The engine oil should be replaced for the first time after 100 hours of work, and the engine oil needs to be replaced every 500 hours of work thereafter. The unit consumption is 6.5 liters. If the ambient temperature is -10 degrees Celsius to 40 degrees Celsius, it is recommended to use CD grade diesel oil with a viscosity grade of 15W40. If the ambient temperature is below -10 degrees Celsius, it is recommended to use CD grade diesel oil with a viscosity grade of 5W30. Turn the oil drain port of the vibration steel wheel to the lowest point, unscrew the screw plug to release the diesel oil. Turn the oil drain port to the highest point, at which time the oil drain port is the refueling port, add 6.5 liters of fresh diesel oil, and tighten the screw plug. Regular maintenance of the brake system. After each workday, open the water drain valve of the air tank to release moisture. Failing to do so may lead to decreased or failed braking performance. Check the brake fluid level every 10 hours, if low, top up. Change the brake fluid every 500 hours, with a usage of about 1.6 liters. Use 719 synthetic brake fluid or DOT3, different types of brake fluids must not be mixed. After changing the brake fluid, bleed the system. Start the engine and raise the brake pressure to over 0.7 MPa, then gradually fill the brake fluid cup. Opening the rear brakes bleeder screw while repeatedly pressing the pedal until no air bubbles appear. Then tighten the screw and add fluid to the cup. Regular maintenance of the clutch booster. The brake fluid level needs to be checked every 10 hours and replenished if insufficient. The brake fluid needs to be replaced every 1,000 hours thereafter. Routine maintenance of the cooling system. When the engine is cool, check the coolant level. Slowly unscrew the radiator cap to release the internal pressure, then remove the cap. The coolant level should be 10 to 15 mm below the filler neck. To avoid engine damage, do not add coolant to an overheated engine. Allow the engine to cool down completely before refilling. Choose coolant based on local temperature conditions. The freezing point of the coolant should be about 10 degrees Celsius lower than the lowest local ambient temperature. Daily maintenance of the electrical system. Check whether the alternator belt tension meets the requirements. The belt deflection should be 10 to 15 millimeters. If the belt is too tight, it may cause premature damage to the water pump bearings and alternator bearings. If the belt is too loose, it may cause slippage, reduce belt life, and lead to engine overheating. Check the wiring terminals of the starter motor and alternator for looseness. Inspect if any fuses are damaged. Even maintenance-free batteries should be regularly checked via the battery indicator window. Green indicates the battery is fully charged. Black indicates low charge and that the battery needs recharging. Daily maintenance requirements for the driving system. Every 50 operating hours. Check the bolts and nuts connecting the rear axle for any looseness or missing parts. Check the drive shaft connection bolts for tightness. Check the engine mounting bolts for tightness. Check the transmission mounting bolts for tightness. Grease application. Every 50 hours, filling grease to 3 grease nozzles on the drive shaft, cleaning them first, and filling grease to each nozzles by using a grease gun. There are 7 grease nozzles near the articulated frame and steering cylinder. Clean and filling grease as above every 50 hours. Clean the grease nozzles on the drum for travel bearing every 250 hours, and filling a few grease to the 2 nozzles. Every 250 hours of operation, filling a few grease to the clutch release bearing and clutch release fork shaft.